Welcome to another day in my life, and today we're going to look at how your knee problem might just be a foot issue. Back when I played competitive football from about 17 until 20 years of age, I had debilitating knee pain that just did not resolve, and eventually it led to me retiring and going into physiotherapy, as physio was something that I was quite used to. But during the period where I was in the physio room a lot, my rehab looked very knee oriented, of course, because that's where my symptoms were. And so we did a lot of knee strengthening exercises, soft tissue around the knee. But this never resolved my symptoms. And I came to find out later it was because it wasn't just the knee that had problems. The knee was responding to a whole body movement problem. One of the joints that weren't working as well as they should have been was the foot. And when I did eventually get my feet moving better, my knee pain resolved. And I think this is common for a lot of people I see in clinic. When we start getting their feet moving better, then knee pain reduces. And there's a very justifiable and evident reason for this, and we're going to look at that today. So you'll see the knee here, it can bend and it can straighten, but below it we have the foot. The foot has 26 bones and 33 joints. The fact that there's so many bones and so many joints means that the foot has the ability to adapt and become very mobile. And the importance of that is it can distribute stress, and it needs to be able to do that as it hits the floor. If it can distribute stress, then not one area is going to become too stressed, and the joints above are not going to be needed to overwork. So the foot's movement is very important, and the foot starts at this joint here. You'll see the joint. We have two bones here, the heel bone and the talus bone, and this joint right here, the space between the two bones, is the start of the foot. And when this joint opens, it unlocks the foot and allows it to become mobile. And so if this joint is moving well and the bones of the foot move well, then the foot can adapt, and the joints of the foot, you'll see here, can open up or spread, and the tissues that are attached to it can catch stress. Now, this opening is basically the unlocking of the foot to allow the foot to catch stress, a lot of stress at ground impact, so that when the knee bends, the knee doesn't have to take all the stress. So if you are someone with feet that don't move well, it's common to see this joint not opening and the foot being stiff like this. Think of it like a rock. The foot has no ability to adapt. So when it hits the ground, there is no stress absorption through the tissues because we need opening for that. So the knee takes on the stress. It does a lot of bending and straightening. It takes on stress, but no stress is taken through the foot. So the foot's movement is essential if we are to ensure that the knee doesn't take on too much stress. This is in the flattening, we see the knee bending, but also at push-off, we need to push forwards in space. So the knee's going to want to straighten to help us push forwards, but we don't want the knee to do all the work. We don't want it to do the straightening without something rigid below it, because that rigidity is what helps the body move forwards in space. So if the foot can't find rigidity, if that joint can't start to close and allow the foot to become rigid, then again, we've lost a lot of efficiency through the foot, and the knee is going to have to overwork to help propel us forwards. So to help yourself, if you have knee pain, or to help someone you're working with knee pain, you want to help the foot flatten well. And to allow that, we need opening of joints, specifically this joint initially, to get things moving. And this requires motion from the lower leg inwards and outwards. So if you can encourage the foot to flatten with a little bit of lower leg or shin inward movement, that will start to unlock the foot. So shin inward movement as you bend the knee. You can think of bringing or encouraging the kneecap to move towards the big toe, and just bend into the foot. See if you can encourage a flattening on the foot on two ideal points of contact at the front of the foot, the big toe knuckle and little toe knuckle, ensuring the heel is down. And you might just do that 5 to 10 reps. And then you could encourage a lifting of the foot by turning your body towards the foot to encourage rigidity. The turning of your body, think of moving your pelvis towards the foot you're trying to encourage to lift, and this will encourage the bone of the lower leg to turn outwards, which will help the foot regain rigidity. If you can place something underneath the big toe knuckle just to encourage it to find the ground, then we're going to be encouraging good flattening and lifting for a better moving foot, but important in your case, a knee that can load up well without being overstressed and then unload. If you can work on that, I'm sure your knees will be a lot happier. If you've got any questions, just let me know. Thank you.